Senator McAllister.
Thank you, Mr Deputy President, and I rise also to take note of the answers to the questions asked by Senator O'Neill to Senator Abetz. And as per usual, Senator Abetz's answers don't tell us very much about the subject matter of the question. What they do tell us is a great deal about the dysfunction, the disunity, the disarray that we all come to expect from the government. Now, just to be very clear, and in answer to some of the other contributions to the debate, Labor does not support the effects test. And I come here really to offer my condolences to the Minister for Small Business, because it can't be very pleasant being publicly hung out to dry by your Prime Minister. Just as recently as August, beginning of August, Minister Bilson was out, reported in the Financial Review as being absolutely confident that the government was going to be pursuing this measure. And yet very recently, just this week, it's been kicked into the long grass by the Prime Minister and the Treasurer because they are absolutely terrified about the debate and the division within their own party room. I also wish to offer my condolences to the business community. 2 years ago, this government promised that Australia was open for business. And instead, all we've seen is uncertainty caused by this government's chronic inability to make a decision. Or worse, to even produce a stable environment in which the business community can make their decisions. Now, I would say to you that the issue of the effects test is characteristic of this much broader pattern. On this issue, we had concerns. We came out. We said so in a very straightforward manner what our concerns were, and the community knew what we were about. Now, the PM clearly shares our concerns. However, he has not made a decision one way or the other. He's not commissioned any further inquiries or tried to get any more information, and he's not opened debate about the issue in any way at all. Instead, he's delayed the decision. He is unable to make difficult decisions, and we don't just see it on this issue. We see it on the issue of marriage equality, where instead of allowing the party room to make a decision, that issue has also been kicked into the long grass, pushed off into the never-never, where we might have a plebiscite or we might have a referendum, but we certainly won't deal with it until after the next election. Well, why is it that the Prime Minister seems unable to make a decision? Well, it is essentially because this is a government that is riven by division. There is disunity in the Cabinet. And how do we know that? We know there's a divergence of views because members of Cabinet speak about them constantly to the media. We hear about it all the time because they tell us. They have leaked conversation after conversation to the national media. They even leaked the talking points, which instructed them not to leak to the media but instead to communicate to the media that Cabinet was functioning perfectly well. A government that needs talking points to explain to us that their government is functioning perfectly well is a government that is unable to function at all. It is normal to have different views in a party room, and that's been explained to us very carefully by members opposite. But you can expect Cabinet ordinarily to back in a decision. This Prime Minister clearly cannot trust his Cabinet to do even that. The day after the decision that was to defer this was made by the PM, the Minister for Small Business said to the WA Chamber of Commerce and Industry, "You would have read, I'm sure, in recent days, I'm getting smacked around by trying to get competition rules right." Well, the people he's getting smacked around by are the people on his own side. He's being smacked around by the Prime Minister, he's being smacked around by the Treasurer, he's being smacked around by the Minister for Foreign Affairs. And what I would say to those opposite, but more importantly what I would say to those people out there in the community, is that it is time for us to see the grown-up government that we were promised. And in the 2 years that we have had to endure this government, we have not seen anything like it. We have seen division, we have seen dysfunction, we have certainly not seen decision-making in the public interest. This government does not stand for anything at all except for the pursuit of power. This is a government that is not interested in jobs for ordinary people. It is a government that is interested only in their own jobs.
The question